Good morning and welcome to Mindset Mondays with DTK. This is episode number 107 in an ongoing series of broadcasts designed for folk who have a growth mindset or those who'd like to create one. The playground here is an opportunity to play with new ideas, new concepts, and try on new mindsets. So before we get started, take a moment and click share just under this video and invite your friends, your colleagues, your community to join the conversation. More voices we have in the conversation, the richer it is. All right, so the concept we get to play with today is this one. And that is that, let's put this one on the big screen. Be yourself. Everyone else is taken. Okay, despite the fact that Oscar Wilde never actually said it. So there's a website that I use quite a bit called quoteinvestigator.com. And wow, so this is one of those where although Oscar Wilde has made several comments and composed several witticisms that are about identity and dissimulation, none of them was a strong enough match to this quotation, though, and in all likelihood, he never said it. But the point is, once the world thinks you said something, and so many opportunities to play here. Anyway, the misattribution is near universal. So this, in fact, one of the guys that I'm going to quote from today is a guy named Mike Robbins, who is a motivational speaker who actually wrote a book called Be Yourself, Everyone Else is Already Taken in 2009 and attributed the title to Oscar Wilde's quote. So, so we're going to go with it as Oscar Wilde because we cannot figure out who actually said it. Anyway, the concept that I want to play with today with this quote, be yourself, everyone is already taken, is the idea that authenticity is almost countercultural. And ignore the dogs, I'm sure they're being entertained by something. The idea that authenticity is effectively countercultural. Our world is hungry for authenticity. Right? We seek it in our friends, we seek it in our partners, we seek it in our community, we seek it in our leaders. Right now in the US, we're embroiled in a political campaign and people are trying to out-authentic each other. And when we feel it missing, the hunger pangs become unbearable. Yet despite that hunger, those homogenizing cultural forces that we've grown up surrounded by have been preaching the message that to fit in, we have to hide who we truly are. And that flies in the face of the idea of this quote. Again, be yourself. Everyone else is already taken. Let's turn off this crawl here. That idea of being authentic, I think one of the best ways to define it is the idea of living unmasked. And whether that's in your relationships, in your work, in your community, in your life, it's a courageous and even a radical or countercultural act, right? So I mentioned Mike Robbins already, the idea of 5 principles for being your authentic self. So as an aside, we're also right in the middle of this coronavirus piece, or scare, as it were. And I notice as I watch these videos and as I watch myself on the video while I'm in the middle of a broadcast, I cannot stop touching my face. And the more we talk about the need to not touch our faces, the more I can't help touching my face. So it's sort of in stark reveal when I've got the camera available and I can see how frequently I'm touching my face. Anyway, the idea, Mike Robbins talks about, in order to utilize the power of authenticity in your life as a way to enhance your relationships and as a way to really amplify your fulfillment and empower yourself, there are 5 different pieces that he's brought up, right? The first one is why I do what I do. Concept is know yourself. So make a commitment to your own personal growth. Discover more about who you are and seek out that honest support and honest feedback and guidance of others. Second one is transform your fear. There's nothing wrong with having fear. It's an incredibly natural physiological reaction. It's the resistance and denial of fear that's the real problem. When you admit, own, and feel or express your fear, you have the ability to move through it, to transform it, and to utilize the energy from it in a positive way. So take action. Taking action in the face of fear is incredibly courageous and amazingly empowering. Third one is to express yourself. Having the courage to speak your truth boldly, to deal with conflicts directly, to express your emotions fully. It's about being vulnerable and real with what you think and how you feel. On the surface, you may worry that it'll be seen as weak or you may be judged in a negative way. In actuality, expressing yourself completely gives you access to freedom and power. Number 4, be bold. Live, speak, and act with courage, power, passion, and truth. It's difficult or even scary to go for what you want in your work in your life and get back up when you fall down, which we're going to. What was the Japanese proverb? Fall down 7 times, stand up 8. The 5th one is celebrate who you are. Appreciate and honor who you are and what you do and the gifts that you have. Celebrating yourself is not just about being, let me try that again. Celebrating yourself is not about being arrogant. And that's a tough one, because I think a lot of the times we're raised in ways that say not celebrating yourself, particularly not out loud, because that presents as arrogant. And that's not true. It's not bragging when it's true. There's a way to celebrate yourself without being a jerk. It's awareness of your own power. It's the key to self-confidence and fulfillment and authenticity. So again, I'll post these in the comments, but the 5 steps are: know yourself, transform your fear, express yourself, be bold, and celebrate who you are. It's interesting. I have a number of clients that one of the challenges I give them is to do a celebrations activity. Each night, write down 3 things that you want to celebrate from the day. And it's interesting. I think one of the things that I discovered during the course of this is that not all the things that one could celebrate are necessarily wins. There are times where the losses during the day and the setbacks are the things that we can celebrate the learning from. Even what this is talking about. Go out and get back up when you fall down, because you will. But it's interesting how much resistance I get from some of my clients on the idea of a celebrations exercise. The game is not just to write down the 3 at the end of the day, but the next morning when you get up, first thing you do in the morning, long before you pick up your phone, is to read what you wrote the night before. It's about bookending your day with those celebrations, training yourself to celebrate yourself, ending your day by capturing things that you're grateful for, that you wish to celebrate, and then starting off the next morning, reminding yourself about those celebrations. So I don't know if y'all can hear it. I'm really distracted by the dogs that are barking at this point. But again, this is an opportunity to play with authenticity, to start examining where you're showing up authentically, and to play with these 5 steps to start shifting towards being more authentic. The more we peel off what's not true and what's not, thank you, Neil, and what's not real and what's not true, the easier path we have towards living that authentic and fully expressed life. I go back to this conversation all the time. Michelangelo said that he didn't carve sculptures out of stone. He freed the pieces from the stone. His job was merely to look at the block of stone and carve away everything that wasn't the sculpture. And that's what our chance is to peel away everything that isn't who we are at our core. And I'll ask my coach about this. I cannot remember who he said came up with this idea. There's an idea that we are all born perfect diamonds, brilliant, clear, beautiful gemstones. And through our education and acculturation processes, we are covered in layer upon layer of shit. And during our young adulthood, we spend a great deal of effort, time, energy, and money painting lipstick over that shit to make it not look gross or smell bad and to make us look beautiful again. And then during our mid years, in our 40s and 50s, we spend a great deal of time, effort, energy, and money peeling away not just the nail polish that's over it, making it look shiny and beautiful, but peeling all the way back down to that beautiful, perfect, pure gemstone at the core, peeling away all the things that aren't us. And it's a graphic and drastic way to talk about those homogenizing cultural forces. And yet, we all exist in a world where the culture is saying this is how one must be in order to be successful. And so many of us bend to that cultural force in so many subtle ways that over time it adds layer and layer and layer of inauthenticity to who we be. It clutters and clouds and occludes that beautiful gemstone. The earlier we become aware of the shifts that are foisted upon us, as Don Miguel Ruiz talks about in the Four Agreements, the agreements that are not ours, they're culturally and familially inherited. But they're still not choices until we unpack and actively discern what's part of our world and what we choose to be part of our world. So it's an opportunity this week, starting in the second week of March. It's your opportunity to look at what are the parts of you and the way you express in the world that aren't yours. Where is your opportunity to be more authentic, to peel off more of those layers back down to that beautiful, clear, pure diamond at the core? So that's what I want to invite you to do this week, is to look at your world, look at your life, look at your behavior and your choices, and decide what gets carved away, what gets removed from this block of stone so that you can be the sculpture freed from the stone. And if you will, come to facebook.com/groups/Mindset Mondays and share what's coming up for you with this. I'd love to hear more about how you're moving towards being more authentic and living more authentically. And between now and next week, what mindset will you choose?